Hi, I'm Niall Cleary. I'm the director of Graffiti Theatre Company here in Cork. Graffiti is first and foremost a theatre company. It's professional work, it's excellent theatre that is seen by children. Children are the audience for it, and children have a right, as much as an adult does, to go into a theatre and see quality work that's been made for them. So that's something that we've been doing for 40 years. I've been here for the last 6 or 7. Graffiti is also a place where young people make theatre. So they're the writers, they're the actors, directors, the decision makers, and we provide them the time and space and mentorship and advice to explore theatre for themselves. The big conversation that we're always having here is about the voice of the young person, and a young person having agency and trusting young people to make decisions and treating them as if they're capable of making decisions, because they are. And all of the work that we do is young person centred. So if I'm creating a piece of theatre for a young audience, I need to know that I'm on the right track. I need to know that this is a story they want to listen to, or that the medium is working for them. So in the creation of the art, we'll consult with young people by showing them, inviting them to the development of our work, sharing early drafts, sharing early experiments in creating a piece of theatre to get their feedback on it. But I think where it comes mostly into play is when the youth theatre are making their own work. And that needs to be authentic to them, for them to have a buy-in and for them to be excited about it. And that could be them choosing a script that's pre-existing, or that could be them going, no, actually we want to explore this idea, and we'll, I suppose, we'll just develop workshops and go on the journey with them. But the decision always needs to be theirs. But in graffiti, the young people actually help us to write the applications for funding, for ideas that they want to explore. So the last 3 productions that the Youth Theatre have made, they've been awarded funding from the Arts Council to do it. They've come up with the concept, they've come up with the timelines, we've helped them to, I suppose, introduce them to artists that they want to work with, but they're the decision makers. And we as artists are also decision makers. We also have agency in this. So it's a real collaboration, as it is in any professional show. You've got your director and management team working with your cast and actors, and that's what happens with the youth theatre as well. Everyone gets on the boat at the same time. We decide where we're going, and then we work together to get to that place, you know. We all have a youth council as well, which also informs the bigger strategic thinking of the company. So at the moment we're in the middle of creating a 5-year strategic plan for graffiti, and the young youth council were consulted in the creation of that plan in the same way as our board have been consulted, and in the same way as the management team have been consulted. Every drama workshop elicits the voice of a young person. It might be through a drama exercise or through feedback. And then the youth council meetings are more formal, where we sit around the table as we do at a board meeting, and we discuss the items on the agenda that relate to our artistic planning, relating to how we'll use the building, what programs we're designing, who we're working with, because they're the recipients and the beneficiaries of all the work. So they need to be on board with it. They tell us what works, they tell us what doesn't work, and we figure it out together. Yeah, it's not all the children make all the decisions. We make them together. As an adult in the room, if I can't explain my own position or my own point, I haven't thought about it enough, you know, and also for them to convince other people of a project that they want, or of something that they feel is important. They need to, they'll articulate it if it's important to them, and if it's something that's more just a bit of fun, or you know, if someone is just pushing the boundaries a little bit, you know, that sense of that genuine decision making, you know, it's always obvious, I think, when there's that buy-in. But everyone who's here, particularly in the youth theatre, it's a really important thing to them. and it's a really important thing for us as well. So we take it lightly in the sense that we have fun, but when we're making a piece of work, we take it very seriously, and we want it to be as good as it can be. And if a young person didn't feel that, they probably wouldn't be here, you know. But it's a very welcoming space, and it's not like it has to be brilliant. but everyone is here because they get it and because they buy it, and the atmosphere. It's, I think, creating the atmosphere as well, where if you create the atmosphere where what we're talking about is important now in terms of decision making, people will be on board with that no matter what age they are, you know. If there's a genuine investment from the facilitator or from the artist in the room, if they're all genuine, you know, and that investment just transmits, and the young people who come in genuinely want it to be a good experience for everyone, not just themselves, you know. So I think that's a battle that's kind of won when most young people walk in the door. There aren't very many spaces in the city where children can be dropped off by their parents, or they can walk here, or their guardians, and they're in a space where they have agency and autonomy. I think when people think of youth theatre, sometimes they think of the very kind of flamboyant singing and dancing young people who, you know, dream of being on stage, and they're not the young people that come in here, you know. They're young people who are looking to join a community where they can be themselves. All of the young people who come in here say that they all talk about they're able to be themselves here. They're able to relax, to have fun, to meet other young people who get them, who don't judge them. They might be a little bit, they might be different, and they're all at that really kind of important part of their lives when they're discovering who they are. And this is a space where they can do that in a really safe way and in a really fun way. And that thing happens, I think, when you become a teenager as well, where you're in between, you're not a child, you're not an adult, and playing is something strange. It's something you should leave behind. But there's a loss when you leave that part of you behind, and you don't need to leave it behind. You can hang on to that sense of play, you know. So all of the young people who come in, they talk about it being a place where they feel most at home. And that's something that parents and guardians talk to us about as well, they come out of here smiling. It's an anchor in the week for a lot of young people, you know, where they'll meet their friends, where they'll have fun, where they'll get to be creative, and there's a glow about that for another couple of days. And then as that glow leaves, you're coming back in again. But that's a real thing, you know. So the young people who come in are very often shy. They're very often, finding their place, and they find it when they come in here. I think preparedness is something that I learned as a drama facilitator, and to go in with a plan, to have thought about it before you went in, and probably to have thought about it after the last session that you did, while it's still fresh in your head, to go, we went to this place, let's build on it next week. And then, you know, with the security of that plan in your hand and that preparedness, I think you have to be prepared to throw that away if something more interesting is happening in the room, or if a young person makes an offer and the workshop starts to go in a different place. Go with it, because that's the energy that's happening in the room, and that's where the exciting discoveries are. But yeah, you need to be prepared, and you need to be prepared to let go of the plan when an offer has been made in the room that's really coming from the young people, and really that's where the excitement of the project is, when they start to make those offers. So stand back and let those offers happen, and follow them and honour them when they are happening. The work is really valuable, you know. It's an important job to do, in terms of the young people that you're working with, giving them agency, giving them confidence, giving them the joy of the work, showing them something that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. But it's also, as an artist, you can make really excellent art with young people, really heartfelt, exciting, genuine art of a standard that you'll see in any theatre or gallery anywhere, you know. Yeah, it's really valuable work. So value yourself as an artist doing it, value the young people who are doing it, and do more of it.